Hey guys, we are looking at today with day 2 of solving systems of equations by substitution. Hopefully day 1 went okay for you. Like I said during that video, we're kind of taking baby steps through this section. You're okay. We're taking baby steps through this section, and it's going to get a little bit more, a little bit difficult, but mainly based on how much work is going into this. It's the same thing through this whole process. There's just going to be a couple more steps added in throughout days 1 to 2 to 3. So this is day 2 out of 3 of this section. So we're looking at something a little different than last time. Last time, you remember, we were looking at things more like this. You would have had something like y equals 2x plus 10, and then you would have had just like an x equals 5, and you would have plugged it straight in. Now this time, where we're going to be a little different is you're not going to be able to necessarily plug it straight in and get the solution right away. We're going to have to do a little bit of work. So what we're looking at today, we have two separate equations where y is alone in both of them. So you have y equaling 7x and you have y equaling 2x plus 10. So y equals two separate things. Well, once again, it's the same idea where since this 7x is equal to y, since it's the same as the exponent y, not the exponent, excuse me, the variable y. Since 7x is the same as the variable y, I can plug it in place of y. I can substitute it. So instead of having y equals 2x plus 10, I'm going to now say 7x equals 2x plus 10. Why are we doing this? Looks like a lot of work. Well, remember, we can't solve for a variable unless there's only one type of variable being involved. So you can't solve for x or y in either of these situations because there's an x and a y. When we replace this y with the 7x that is equal to it, we now just have x's in here. And again, we're in a spot now where you know how to solve this. You've done solving equations in a lot of different ways. This is part of the reason why we're doing that, because it comes up in a lot of different types of material. It comes up in a lot of different sections and chapters, I should say. So now that we have just x's, we're going to follow our steps to solve for x. So in order to get my x alone, this is the thing that we did when we were solving equations, getting all the x's on one side and then getting the x all by itself. So I need to get these two together. In order to do that, I've got to move this 2x over to be with the 7x. So I'm going to do the opposite and subtract it. You're not dividing by 2. We're not getting x alone yet. We have to get all the x's in one spot. So to get this 2x to be with the 7x, I do the opposite. I subtract 2x. So that cancels it out. Oh, we're being a little glitchy again. And then I am going to, let's see if I can unglitch this. There we go. And then I'm going to have 5x equals just 10. 5x equals 10. I'm going to divide by 5 on both sides to get the x all alone. And now I've got x equals 2. Remember, when we're solving these systems, we're looking for ordered pairs for our final answer. We need an x and a y. So I'm going to take this 2 that I found for my x, and now I'm going to plug that in for one of these two x's, because then I'll be able to get my y alone. I like to go for the smaller equation. It'll be one less step. So you're going to take this x, you're going to bring it up here. Now instead of saying y equals 7 times x, you're going to have y equals 7 times 2 because of this 2 that we just found for x. 7 times 2 is 14, and you found your y. Once you have your x and your y, you've got your solution. X equals 2, y equals 14. So when you're going through these problems on your homework, here's one example that you'd be able to maybe pause the video if you want to be looking at a full sequence of steps to solve. You can pause it here. You can have this on a screen so you can look at it. Or if you're writing this stuff down, like for notes, you can have these in front of you the whole time. We're going to do one more example, but I just want to show you visually, like we saw in the graphing situation. I've graphed these two. Y equals 2x plus 10 is the red one, right there, the one flashing, and then y equals 7x is the blue one flashing. Do they intersect? Yes. Where? At the ordered pair 214. That's where they're crossing, and that's what we came up with for our ordered pair for our answer. Okay, so we'll look at one more here together. we will slide on over and see this one show up. Y equals 5x plus 8, y equals 9x plus 4. Again, there's even a little bit more happening here. Last one we had just a y equals 7x. This one, both of them have that variable term and the constant. 5x plus 8, 9x plus 4. So, I'm going to follow the same process. There's just going to be 1 or 2 extra steps involved. So this entire chunk of 9x plus 4 is the same thing as the variable y. 9x plus 4 is equal to y. So I can take that 9x plus 4, that whole chunk, and I can substitute it in for the other y. So now instead of y equals 5x plus 8, I'm going to have this whole piece as my new left side. So now I'm going to have 9x plus 4, and that's going to be equal to the 5x plus 8. Because I substituted this y with the entire expression that it's equal to. And now we're solving the same way that we did the last one. There's just 1 or 2 extra steps. I like to get my x's together first. So I'm going to take this 5x and somehow try to move it to the other side. I'm not dividing by 5 because I'm not trying to get that x alone. I'm trying to move this whole piece. So I'm going to subtract 5x. Of course, now it's going to get glitchy on me. I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides. It's going to cancel this guy out. And it's going to simplify 9x minus 5x into 4x. There's only 4 x's left now. 4x plus 4 on the left is equal to just this 8 now on the right side since the 5x was canceled. I'm going to bring this up here for a little more room. 4x plus 4 equals 8. Okay? Continuing to get it with x alone, I'm going to subtract 4 from each side as I'm kind of whittling away at that x value. That's canceled. I've got a 4x all by itself now on the left. 8 minus 4 on the right side is 4. Last step, when the last thing left to do is get this x alone, we're going to divide by that number that is in front of it. So we're going to divide by 4, and of course, something divided by itself is just going to be 1. So I got x equals 1. So now I'm going to take that x equals 1, and I need to go find a y. Doesn't matter which one you plug it into. You could plug it in for this x or this x. You're going to get the same y value. You're going to get the same correct answer. Doesn't matter which one you choose. Let's do the top one just for the heck of it. So I'm going to be plugging in my x of 1 to be in place of that x. So instead of y equals 5x plus 8, I'm going to have y equals 5 times 1. Whoops. 5 times 1 plus 8. And then this is just order of operations. 5 times 1 is 5. That plus 8 is still happening. And then 5 plus 8 is 13. Y will equal 13. So your final answer that you would submit into Alex as the answer would be the ordered pair. X comes first, 1, 13. And that's how we're substituting today. Again, same thing as last time. There's just a few more steps involved. It's getting a little bit more cumbersome as we go through here. So either one of these, you'll have a chance to pause on these 2 screens today if you want to have an example to look at as you work through your homework. All 8 of your problems are exactly like these 2. There might be a negative sign in there somewhere, a subtraction, but that doesn't change anything. It just changes if you're going to add or subtract to cancel it. Okay, so that's all we got for today. You're going to have another day of substitution with probably really similar to this coming up on either Thursday or Friday for you guys. Okay, so let myself and Miss Mickelson know if you need help. And don't feel like you got to get this stuff done in 5 minutes. There's a little work involved. Let us know if you're struggling or if you feel like you need some more time or whatever you need. And we'll see you guys later.